February 2021. Peloton is worth $50 billion, more valuable than Ford, more than Delta Airlines. A home exercise bike company is crushing automotive giants. Then the world reopened. Gyms opened their doors, people stepped outside, and Peloton's empire collapsed. $50 billion became $1.5 billion, a 97% crash. CEO John Foley went from billionaire to fired. This is what happens when your entire business model depends on people staying locked inside forever.
If you love watching high stakes bet go sideways, hit that like button and subscribe Founders Code YouTube channel.
This is the story of the greatest pandemic bubble in history. Before the pandemic, Peloton was luxury, not just an exercise bike, a $2,500 status symbol. The bike itself was beautiful. Sleek design, massive touchscreen, premium build quality. But the real product wasn't hardware, it was the experience. Peloton brought the boutique fitness studio into your home. Live classes with charismatic instructors, leaderboards where you competed against thousands of riders worldwide. A community that felt like a cult. Riders knew their favorite instructors by name. Robin Arzon, Cody Rigsby, Jess King. These weren't just trainers, they were celebrities. For wealthy urbanites, especially in New York and LA, Peloton replaced SoulCycle. $35 per class became a $39 per month subscription for unlimited rides. The math worked for anyone taking 3 classes a week, and you didn't have to leave your apartment. CEO John Foley, a former Barnes & Noble exec, pitched Peloton as technology, media, software, hardware, retail, apparel, logistics, and fitness all in one. Wall Street loved the vision. Peloton IPO'd in 2019 at an $8 billion valuation. But growth was steady, not explosive. Peloton was a niche luxury product. Most people couldn't justify $2,500 for a bike. The company was growing but burning cash. Losses piled up. Some analysts questioned if Peloton would ever be profitable. Then came March 2020, and everything changed. Picture this. March 15th, 2020, gyms across America shut down. People are locked inside, terrified of getting sick. Suddenly, that $2,500 bike isn't a luxury. It's your only option for exercise. And everyone who'd been waiting decides now's the time. Peloton servers crashed from the traffic. The pandemic turned Peloton from a nice-to-have into a must-have. Demand exploded. The company couldn't keep up. Q2 2020, Peloton sells more bikes in 3 months than the entire previous year. Revenue doubles year over year. Subscribers skyrocket from 1.4 million to 3 million in months. But here's the problem. They can't manufacture fast enough. Wait times for delivery stretch to 8 to 10 weeks. Customers pay $2,500 and wait 3 months for their bike. And they're happy to wait because there are no alternatives. Peloton goes into hyperdrive. They open new factories. They hire thousands of workers. They sign massive manufacturing contracts. They order millions of components. They lease warehouses to store inventory. They build an entire supply chain for explosive growth. CEO John Foley is ecstatic. In earnings calls, he projects Peloton will reach 100 million subscribers, over 20 times their current base. He calls the pandemic a secular shift in fitness. People won't go back to gyms, he argues. Home fitness is the future. Peloton is the leader. They're unstoppable. Wall Street believes him. The stock explodes. From $30 in March 2020 to $170 by January 2021, Peloton's market cap hits $50 billion. John Foley's net worth peaks at $1.9 billion. Peloton isn't just a pandemic winner, it's the pandemic winner. While restaurants collapse and retailers die, Peloton thrives. Their commercials are everywhere. Their bikes are in celebrity Instagram posts. Owning a Peloton becomes a flex, a signal that you're wealthy enough, smart enough to invest in home fitness. But inside the company, warning signs are flashing. Production costs are soaring. The supply chain is strained. Customer acquisition costs are rising. They're spending heavily on ads to maintain growth. And the unit economics are getting worse. Each new customer is more expensive to acquire and less profitable than the last. But Foley ignores it. He's riding the high. He believes the pandemic changed human behavior permanently. He doubles down. More factories, more inventory, more hiring, more spending. Then came the vaccine, spring 2021. Suddenly, the world has a path back to normal, and Foley's entire thesis that people will never return to gyms starts to crack. Summer 2021. Gyms reopen. People flood back. Turns out people missed human interaction. They missed trainers. They missed the gym atmosphere, and they realized my $2,500 Peloton is now a very expensive coat rack. Peloton's growth stops. Not slows, stops. Q4 2021. Sales drop 30% year over year. New subscriptions collapse. Worse, existing subscribers start canceling. Churn accelerates. The community that felt like a cult starts dissolving as people return to real studios. And Peloton has a catastrophic inventory problem. They'd manufactured millions of bikes expecting continued explosive demand. Now they're sitting in warehouses. Every unsold bike is cash burned. Storage costs pile up. Peloton is hemorrhaging money. Then the nightmare gets worse. May 2021, reports surfaced that a child died in an accident involving a Peloton treadmill. The company is forced to recall 125,000 treadmills. The PR disaster is brutal. Peloton's brand, built on aspiration and safety, is suddenly associated with danger. The stock crashes. $170, $100, $50. Investors panic. And the company can't stop the bleeding. Q1 2022. Peloton reports disastrous earnings. Revenue down, losses up. They announce they're halting production. They have too much inventory. They're laying off 2,800 employees, 20% of their workforce. John Foley tries to save his job. He pivots the message. Peloton isn't just bikes, it's a fitness platform. They can license content to gyms, they can sell apparel, they can offer the Peloton app without hardware, but it's too late. The narrative has shifted. Peloton isn't a growth stock anymore, it's a cautionary tale. February 2022, the board forces Foley out as CEO. He's replaced by Barry McCarthy, a turnaround expert from Spotify and Netflix. The message is clear. The founder got us into this mess. Now we need someone to clean it up. But McCarthy inherits a disaster. Billions in unsold inventory, a collapsing subscriber base, a logistics network built for 10x growth now bleeding cash, and a product that people literally use as a coat rack. The stock keeps falling. By May 2022, Peloton trades at $10, down 94% from its peak. A $50 billion company is now worth $3 billion. John Foley's net worth, $1.9 billion, $225 million. He's still rich, but he lost $1.6 billion in 18 months. So where is Peloton today? Surviving, barely. As of late 2024, Peloton trades around $5 to $7 per share. Market cap, $1.5 to $2 billion, down 97% from the peak. The company is no longer growing. They're fighting to stabilize. Barry McCarthy's turnaround plan. Strategy 1, cut costs ruthlessly, close factories, end manufacturing, fire more staff, reduce inventory, stop hemorrhaging cash. Strategy 2, pivot to software. Push the Peloton app, $12.99 per month for classes without hardware. Try to become a fitness content platform that works on any equipment. Strategy 3, partnerships. Rent bikes to hotels, gyms, corporations. Let other people buy the hardware. Peloton just provides software and content. Strategy 4, used bike market. Sell refurbished bikes at lower prices. Capture budget-conscious buyers. It's working, barely. Peloton returned to positive free cash flow in 2024. But growth? Non-existent. Subscribers peaked at 3 million and are slowly declining. The company is now a zombie, alive but not thriving. Here's the brutal reality. The used bike market is flooded. You can buy a Peloton on Facebook Marketplace for $500 to $800. Original price, $2,500. People who paid full price during the pandemic are now liquidating at 70% losses just to get them out of their homes. Every discounted used bike Peloton sold during the boom is now a competitor preventing new sales. Peloton created its own oversupply problem, and the market has moved on. Boutique gyms like Barry's Boot Camp and Orange Theory are thriving. ClassPass is growing. People want real experiences, not screens. The pandemic shift Foley believed was permanent, it wasn't. It was temporary insanity, but here's what's fascinating. Peloton's cult community still exists. Hardcore users still love their bikes. Instructors still have devoted followers. The product, when used, is genuinely good. The problem is, most people don't use it. Peloton's core issue is simple. They're a hardware company pretending to be a software company. Hardware has brutal economics, high upfront costs, inventory risks, low margins. Software has beautiful economics, low marginal costs, high margins, infinite scale. Peloton wanted software economics but got stuck with hardware reality. And when the pandemic tailwind disappeared, the truth became unavoidable. The company that made John Foley a billionaire destroyed most of that wealth in 18 months. A reminder that bubbles always pop. And when your growth depends on a crisis continuing forever, you're not building a company. You're surfing a wave, and waves crash. What's the founder's code from Peloton's $50 billion collapse? Lesson 1. Tailwinds aren't business models. The pandemic was a temporary surge, not a permanent shift. Peloton mistook a moment for a movement. Never confuse exceptional circumstances with sustainable demand. Lesson 2. Beware hockey stick projections. When growth accelerates beyond comprehension, question if it's real or a bubble. Foley extrapolated pandemic demand into the future. Reality didn't cooperate. Lesson 3. Hardware economics are brutal. Bikes require manufacturing, inventory, logistics. Software scales infinitely. Peloton wanted software margins with hardware constraints. It doesn't work. Lesson 4. Plan for the crisis ending. Every boom ends. Companies that survive plan for reversion to normal. Peloton built for perpetual lockdowns. When lockdowns ended, they collapsed. Peloton isn't dead, but the dream died. The $50 billion vision became a $1.5 billion reality, a case study in mistaking luck for skill and tailwinds for fundamentals. Do you own a Peloton? Is it a coat rack or do you actually use it? What pandemic purchase are you stuck with now? Drop your stories below. Like this video if you've ever regretted a pandemic impulse buy. Share this with someone whose Peloton is collecting dust. Subscribe to Founder's Code for more stories of billion-dollar bubbles that popped. Thanks for watching.